What is going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good evening so far. And today, give me 1 second as I start this on Instagram. So, as we get started, we talking about CTM sports today. Conversation about different sports topics. Comments are open. Um, like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's get right into it. First one is the Thunder win an NBA title. And the question is SGA, Shea Gilchrist Alexander, is he the greatest Thunder? Because he was able to deliver a championship. Or is like Kevin Durant still the greatest Thunder? SGA brought an MVP. Kevin Durant did too. Did Kevin Durant win the Western Conference Finals MVP? He probably did. But SGA brought the championship home. Let me know in the comments who do you think is the greatest Thunder at this point right now? Right now. Because when you think about it, a lot of people will say the person who bring the championship home usually get a lot of the treatment. And Shea did that. He brought the championship back to Oklahoma, MVP'd up, got a comment in the house. On a shot son, Kobe wasn't better than T Mac during that three-peat, respectfully. We gonna get there, bro. Cause we might be on the same page. We gonna get there, bro. Appreciate that comment though, shoe son. Appreciate that, man. Well, we gonna get there though. Let me know. Do you think SGA was good? Is the best Thunder? He said they were equal. We finna get to that in just a second though. Give me 1 second. The next one is the front office important for a team to win? Let me know in the comments. Do you got to have a good front office as a team? Sam Presti built that team. He had Kevin Durant, James Harden, Westbrook on the same team at one time. Salary cap issues came. He had to let one of them go. He let James Harden go to the Rockets. You know the story. And then eventually he had Kevin Durant walked in free agency, and Westbrook ended up being traded to the Rockets, kind of leaving too. Then he rebuilt the team after he traded away Paul George, which was a great trade. He got SGA back in hindsight, and he built around SGA. Next thing you know, they're in championship contending again. And first few years they didn't win it, but they was coming up. Then they had a team with depth, and they won the championship this year. Front office is very important. If you don't have a front office, you're not gonna win. You may be a great player. We're gonna get to that too. But you gotta have a front office that can build a complete team, not just one player, but a complete team that can put pieces together. But let me know in the comments, is the front office important to win championships? How they build teams. Now, we finna get into it. T Mac and Kobe, individual skills debate, was talked about on Gil Podcast. He was on First Take talking about the ring culture or whatever. There was a time, I want to say, in the 2000s, early 2000s, that these guys um, was debated who was better or who had the best talent. And I mean, you can argue the team. I mean, Kobe had Shaq, of course, but talent for talent, skill for skill, who would you take, Kobe or T Mac? A lot of people will say they probably washed each other on offense, but Kobe had the defense. I'm gonna show you a video. This is from 2002 when they played each other. They both had 38, something like that, and talk through it a little bit because when you think about it, Kobe had offensive skills, but T Mac was 6'8", 6'7", 6'8". Kobe about 6'5", 6'6". T Mac could do everything. Kobe could do everything too, but T Mac was able to do it without a complete team. So let's check this out real quick. Real quick.
He played together 5 times. You've won them all. Everybody looks at that, though. Do you get a little more juiced up when you're playing against a guy like that?
You know what? It's fun. It's a challenge. I love challenges, as I'm sure he does.
As we look into this,
I think it's what people like to see.
Look at this. Now,
McGrady. Oh, boy.
McGrady has some of the best offensive skills you ever see. This was his healthier years.
Here's Kobe on the baseline.
Grant Hill was supposed to play on the team with T-Mac, but he could never get his ankle right. So it was pretty much just T-Mac running his team by himself. Because, I mean, he had some players like Darrell Armstrong, okay.
They're up 9.
Chris Gatlin, yeah.
Or just pull up and shoot a 3.
But T-Mac, man, I mean, when you look at this game, man, let me turn this off for a second so you can see it.
Grant Hill, Burke, and Armstrong.
I mean, T-Mac could just rise up and shoot over anybody, period.
Yeah, there's
Kobe could do it, but he wasn't as tall as T-Mac, though.
Armstrong, great crossover dribble. Kobe Bryant blocked it, but Sean Kemp cleaned up. Kobe Bryant, smooth shot there.
And they both had 38.
That post-entry pass was just too soft and out of his reach.
You said Kobe had defense, but look at him holding T-Mac, man. I mean, they both watched each other this whole game, but I remember watching this game. As you can see, T-Mac, I think T-Mac, though, couldn't play pure defense on him. I'm not making no excuses because he was the only option for that team, so he had to be careful about how he guarded Kobe.
And Bryant on a fadeaway.
And both of these guys, once they get to certain spots on the floor, you're not going to be able to just completely stop them. Anyway.
But Grady still got it.
And that's great defense. Look at that. Rise over. Boom.
McGrady, those long arms defensively. Kobe trying to get through, and the finger roll he did.
It says McGrady versus Kobe Bryant, and wow.
Yeah.
Seems to be scramble and isolation and Tracy McGrady, and that's about it for Orlando.
McGrady feeling it.
And then McGrady was just going in spurts, man. He's scoring spurts.
He's going to get a steal as well. Look at that battle. Comes free to Hill for the slam. And maintain a 5-point advantage here as we approach 5 minutes in the quarter. McGrady, nice move to the right and got it.
That's just too good. There is nothing you can do.
Wow.
What else
Had one of the most prettiest jumpers, too, man, for somebody that was running ISO ball.
Got it. Big shot.
They was almost the same kind of person, though, when you really look at it. They almost was kind of one and the same. I just think T-Mac just a little more athletic. Pure natural athleticism. Kobe was more wheel. He'll insert his wheel on you. It seemed like Tracy McGrady just flowed. It's like just natural skill, athletic
He's been the catalyst here in the last couple of minutes. He makes a jump to Kobe Bryant with a finger roll up and under. Kobe Bryant. McGrady got a nice pick in the paint.
Yeah. That's called face.
McGrady.
All right, that's enough of that before I mess around and get dinged. But let me know in the comments, who do you have? Who had the skills individual wise? I think that they are like even like Susan said, he said they were equal. But it's just all about who you like better. Do you like the 6'8" guy with the offensive skill, or do you like the 6'6" guy with the offensive skill? And my next question is, if T-Mac was paired with Shaq, do we win the championship? Like Kobe was paired with Shaq and Phil Jackson, and a good front office, Jerry West, building that team. If they switch places, you put Kobe with the Magic, T-Mac with the Lakers with Shaq on it, do they win the championship? My answer is yes, they would, because he could score with ease. Like Kobe, really, he could score, but he wasn't like on the same shooting level as McGrady till he got a little bit older in his career, in my opinion, when I used to watch, because I watched both of these guys. There was a time when Tracy McGrady was averaging 32 points a game for the Magic. And if you think that's easy to do, that's not easy to do. Especially when they know you're the number one option, they know you that good, and they still cannot stop you. He did that. Matter of fact, I'm willing to say that if Doc Rivers wouldn't have sat him out a couple of games when he was at like 67, something like that, I think he could have scored like 100 points in the game if Doc wouldn't have took him out. But Doc would take him out in the third quarter, and he wouldn't play no more the rest of the game. So if you pair T-Mac with Shaq, would T-Mac have won a championship? And the answer is yes. I think he would have. Because his scoring was just that effortless. And you pair that with Shaq that's going to beat you up in the paint, dunk on you. You got to think he was more of a natural shooter than Kobe was when he started out. You got to remember, Kobe airballed, right? T-Mac was dropping dudes off in Toronto, too. And he was 18, 19 coming out of high school. He just couldn't get the same. Him and Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter kind of played the same kind of style of ball, so they kind of conflicted with each other. But when he went to the Magic, though, man, if Grant Hill would have stayed healthy, and if they could have got Tim Duncan like they rumored to the got, I think they would have had a chance, or they would at least went to the finals. But T-Mac with the Magic, that team never materialized to his full potential until the injury started to kick in. But when he was durable, he wasn't getting injured. Him and Kobe was tit for tat. Matchups. But his body, he did so much of the heavy lifting. In my opinion, his body, it took a toll on his body. By the time he went to Houston, it wasn't the same because he had to do so much in Orlando. But let me know in the comments if you had to pick between T-Mac and Kobe, who you picking? So our next slide. It's a doggy-dog world. The dog's world. Is Stephen A. right? Nobody wants to play in Memphis. And the question is Memphis that bad? in my opinion, I think Memphis is one of those bad front office teams. Excuse me. They always make bad decisions in free agency. Sometimes, not always, but they never really build a solid team. It's always a one-sided team, or the players that they get don't mesh together. I remember at one time Memphis had O.J. Mayo, Rudy Gay. I don't know, Zebo was on that team, and they still struggled to score. They got my guy, um, can't think of the name right now, but he's athletic. He can score around the basket, but he really has to work on his jumper. If they don't get him help, he's gonna go through what T Mac went through in Orlando, in my opinion. And that's what's gonna happen. And what's gonna happen is, hold on, yeah, Ja Morant, that's his name. I'm sorry. They're trying to look up some stuff, but if they don't get Ja Morant talent to really that can play, instead of trying to save money, he's gonna be like T Mac. He's gonna use up all of his youth years, and then they're gonna trade him when they feel like he don't give them value anymore. That's what a lot of those teams do. They sell tickets by Ja Morant playing his style of play, but they'll never get past the second round if they even do that in the playoffs because they don't have enough talent. Ja Morant can't do it by himself, just like T Mac could not do it by himself. That's why I think players don't want to go play in Memphis because they cannot get talent to come there, kind of like Miami Heat. They may get a trade to happen, but they won't get any free agents to say, I want to go to Miami. I mean, Memphis. And that's just kind of how the game is. That's how the game go, man. The market's not big enough. The front office, I think, has a really bad reputation, in my opinion. And that's why players don't want to go there. I mean, name me a player that went there and really thrived. Their career just wasn't the same after that. You can't name too many. Zebo fit into Memphis. If you didn't know him, you would think he was from Memphis. All thing he was missing was the slugs, was the gold slugs. He was missing that in the Jerry Curl, but you would think he from Memphis. But Memphis front office, in my opinion, is why players don't want to come there. Because they either lose free agents or they trade people away. They never really build a championship team. They build a team just good enough to win and sell tickets, but not a championship team. Not every team wants to win a championship, in my opinion, because it costs a lot of money to get those kind of players that you can win a championship with. But that's just my opinion. So he complained about safety in Memphis. Is it just certain areas? And the answer is yes. There's the tourist area. There are the nicer areas. Then it's the certain areas. But that's in every state. I mean, living in Little Rock, I can take you to certain areas you probably don't need to be. You don't want to get caught slipping. And if you go there,
Blade, ready to die.
you may feel the atmosphere change. You feel the aura change. in certain areas. That's real. That's a real thing. Every city has that, in my opinion. Not just Memphis, but there are some nice areas in Memphis too. Not all areas in Memphis are bad. I think some players try to prove something by being in those certain areas, trying to get street cred or whatever. Or who knows? But I think everywhere, if you go to Miami, if you go to Milwaukee, you go to LA, Houston, every city has certain areas you just don't need to be. Some people call it the trenches. Some people call it the hood. Whatever that certain area is, you just don't need to be. Because when you're making millions of dollars and your salary's public, people know this, and you're in a poverty area, you will become a target. You will become a zebra to the lions. And sometimes they'll let you feel like you got street cred. They will rock you to sleep, so to speak.
It's always business, never personal.
And then you're gonna find out that they setting you up, and next thing you know, they pulling out the heat, and they telling you, "Give me that." So every city has certain areas. Just know that. You can go to the country towns, and they got certain areas. Rural areas got certain areas. People be saying these country towns, like you go to Blyville, you gotta be careful, man. Go down the wrong street, wrong area if you want to. Get caught slipping, man. It's real. So I think he kind of misstepped on that one because every city has a New York. They talk about it all the time. Certain areas you just don't need to be if you ain't from around there. Used to be a song 3-6 had out. I should have get a sound effect. If you ain't from my hood, you should get from around here. That's a real thing. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is a real thing. So, last two slides. Can players be great without winning a ring? Ask yourself that. Can players be great without winning a ring? My answer is yes. The reason why is some players that are great, they play for bad front office teams. They're always trying to save money. They're always trying to get players for the cheap. They can't get free agents to come there. Either because they're a small market or the front office tries to lowball. Oh, we can only pay the veterans minimum. We can only do this and do that. Like the Lakers has always invested in talent when it was available. Some teams, they go through a time where they have good talent, but they just can't put it together, or a team is just better. 93 through 96, I think the league had a lot of good talent, team to team, but they couldn't get past Jordan. They couldn't get past Jordan. Utah Jazz had a good team. They couldn't get past Jordan. Blazers had a good team. They couldn't get past Jordan. A lot of teams just could not get past Jordan. Just how it was. And you got to give the front office for the Chicago Bulls some kind of credit because they kept different pieces around Jordan that did different things other than scoring the ball because they didn't need scoring. They needed guys that could play defense. When they got Dennis Rodman specifically to get rebounds, Scottie Pippen did everything. He was the Swiss Army knife of the Bulls, period. Even though Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year, I don't think he would have won it without Pippen on his team, because Pippen made it easy for him to just play the passing lanes, and being able to get steals and stuff like that. But you gotta know how to get talent around players, or you're not gonna win. Charles Barkley was great. He didn't win the ring because this team wasn't good enough to beat the Bulls. It's just the truth. Karl Malone was a great player. Couldn't get past Jordan. Team wasn't good enough to get past Jordan. Who else did they play? Who else did they play? Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's when they played the Supersonics. Definitely wasn't good enough to beat the Bulls. And pretty much without a front office, you're not going to win. Look at the teams. Like, think about right now, right? The Celtics had Brown, Tatum. They went and got Drew Holiday. Then they got Porzingis. They won one championship. And possibly they could have won the second one, but the injuries, they couldn't get past the injuries. And they played around. I think, in my opinion, they played around against the Knicks and found out and lost. The Cavaliers didn't have a good enough team to beat the Pacers. Some teams are good in the regular season because you're playing against the whole NBA, but the playoffs going to show you who you really are. And they got exposed in the playoffs. The Cavaliers did. Even though there was a good team in the regular season, but in the playoffs, it's a whole different animal. Like I say, bad front office. I'm telling you, a lot of teams who don't win, look at their front office. Another thing of players being great without a championship ring, having a supporting cast is not guaranteed. There are a lot of great players who didn't have the supporting cast. Like I say, Shaq had Kobe. They had a lot of players on the Lakers team. They had depth. I think they had Glenn Rice. They had Ron Harper. They almost had Dennis Rodman if he would have acted right. Man, they had J.R. Ryder at one point. They had a lot of players on the Lakers team doing that three-peat run. Bulls, of course, talent around them. Even the Portland Trailblazers, when they played the Bulls in the finals, they had talent on their team. The Rockets had Akeem, the Dream, Vernon Maxwell, Kenny DeSmith, Otis Thorpe, Robert Ory. San Antonio Spurs, the Admiral, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Avery Johnson, the General. Had a lot of talent on their team, man. You got to have a supporting cast to go with your great player. The Orlando Magic. Let me look at their roster real quick. Orlando Magic 2002. Let's look that up. Roster. Orlando Magic 2002 roster. I want to let's look at this real quick. Okay, cool. Let's do this. I want to do this real quick. I want to show you something. What were they thinking? Maybe it was salary cap. I don't know. But let's check this out real quick. Let's look at the Orlando Magic in 2002. They had Daryl Armstrong, Pat Burke, Andrew DeClerc, whatever that is, whoever that was, Pat Garrity, Gordon Gilrichik, Drew Gooden, Horace Grant, Grant Hill. He could never really get healthy. Horace Grant was on the downside of his career at that time. Ryan Humphrey, Stephen Hunter, Sean Kemp on the downside of his career. Tracy McGrady, Mike Miller. I think he was struggling with injuries too. I don't even know who that is. Some Illumide. I don't know. Flush him. Gerald Sasser, Jock Vaughn, and Chris Whitney. I mean, that's other than Grant Hill, man. If Grant Hill would have stayed healthy, no telling. But those two guys kind of was going to be the pivot of that team. And the fact that Grant Hill couldn't stay healthy, and I understand because it was out of his control with the whole microfracture thing. They knew that team wasn't going to be able to reach its full potential. But they had invested so much money into both of those guys, wasn't really nothing they could do. But every great player has to have a supporting cast, or you will not win. You cannot do it all by yourself. You got to have a supporting cast. So with that being said, thanks for watching CTM Sports. Like, share, and subscribe. Help us grow. Help us reach 1K. The Thinking Game podcast coming on. Jay gonna be back. Check us out. Well, we switched to Mondays now because that's kind of easy on everybody's schedule. Thanks for watching. Keep tuning in for the sports. Keep tuning in for the Thinking Game podcast, where we have a casual conversation about topics that regular people think about, and we try to encourage more thinking. We try to encourage making great decisions. Great choices will set you up in the future. What? Thanks for watching CTM Sports. Like, share, and subscribe. And we are signing out.
There can be only one.